Hi, welcome to Werks. Today is another episode of my 52 cards in 52 weeks challenge. Last week I drew this Queen of Diamonds which says router bit storage. So that's what we're going to be making today.
Oh yeah, so I'm pulling out the router bits, opening up the cabinet, and they're all in there, and I gotta take them all out. I had all these little plastic pouches, and they take up a lot of space, so I figured it would be a good thing to get rid of those. I have one of these big organizers, but I only keep the big ones in there, and some of those are hogging up space too, and then this one's got all the bearings so you can swap out. So I need space for all of this, and kind of just put it all in the same spot so it's not in these different pouches and little containers that take up random space. So I head over to the scrap bin and dig through there till I find a good piece. I had this big piece of poplar. It was about 4.5 inches wide and 2 inches thick. So I tilt the table saw over to 10 degrees and I start cutting. And I cut it right down the middle. So it's about 2 by 2, but it's like a rhombus kind of shape with that 10-degree angle. You can see here that it's not square. Now that's on purpose, so I'll tip the router bits forward. And then I can lay out where I want my router bits to go, so they'll all be, next to each other, spaced out even, but not so close that they're touching each other. And we're going 2 inches each here. And then I take my little square and lay that out so they're all in the center. That's how I want them. That's kind of the best case scenario. I head over to my little drill press and I put the Forstner bit in there and make a nice clean hole. And start drilling. And just, gotta get it right in the middle of each one. Drilling down maybe 1/2 or 3/4 of an inch. You want it deep enough so that the router bit won't fall out, but not so deep that it gets stuck. You knock out your chips, and then do the same thing on the other one, because I want to have 2 of these so I have enough storage for all the router bits. I swap that over to a 1/4 inch Forstner bit for the smaller router bits, and then I drill even deeper into that hole, so I have a nice little pocket at the bottom of the hole, so you can put a 1/4 inch router bit or a 1/2 inch router bit in the same hole, and that works out pretty well. You can see down here what it looks like. I had to shine a little flashlight so you could see. And then you can see how deep it is. And it was actually a little too deep for the 1/4 inch bit. So I was thinking I would just shave off about 1/8 inch on the table saw. No problem. That worked out just fine. And that still leaves more than enough room for the 1/2 inch bit, and then the 1/4 inch bit fits in there nice and good. Now I tilt the blade back over to 90 degrees, and I'm going to rip that rhombus shape off, and we're going to turn this thing into a trapezoid. And the reason for that is just so it looks a little more cleaned up when it's on the wall, just so you have that one spot tilting forward for the router bits, but the rest is all straight up. And then I can sand out all the saw marks. It's poplar, so it's pretty soft. I just did that by hand. This bit with all the bearings, I wanted to store them next to it. So I drilled this little hole here, and the Allen key will fit in there. And I can push that down in, and that holds all the router bits and the Allen key all in the same spot. So that worked out real nice. And then on these ones, I marked out the holes in the front because I wanted to screw it to the wall. And I marked these out at 16 inches. I could screw them anywhere in here. But I figured if I ever moved to a different shop, then I could go 16 on center right into a stud and wouldn't have to worry about that. Because it's always good to think about the future. And I got all my pieces lined up. I can't use a level in here because the shop's so out of level. So I just measured them to make sure they're the same height from each other. And then I put all my bits in, and I think that looks pretty great. And right here I decided I would hang my wrenches, because I never have a good storage spot for those. And then I can throw all these out, and I'm done.
So I'm pretty happy with how my router bit storage came out, and those were pretty easy to make, so if I get more router bits in the future, I can easily make another 1 or 2 of those little storage racks. But with that, I'm going to choose my card for next week. Let's see what we get. Jack of Clubs, the Resta Skeleton Knife. That is this thing. So next week, we're going to be modifying this to make it my own. And, as always, thanks for watching.